So let me ask you this: how you been managing in this quarantine? I see you taking some L's on the video games. You out here sipping a little bit. Like what we doing on quarantine?
I don't know. I don't know where you heard that.
I mean, I saw it. I saw it on the gram. You were getting pretty tight too. You one of those mad video game players. When you taking the L's, you get pissed.
Yeah, I feel like those are two times that I get really mad. I have road rage and I have video game rage.
Oh, okay. Remind me
Yeah.
not to play the Xbox when when we bring you to the office or something.
First of all, we're not playing Xbox. We're playing PS4. You.
All right, excuse me, say that. I got you. I mean, listen, I gotta congratulate you on your project, your debut album. It is fire.
Thank you.
It is fire. And I love the touch that you did with it. You shooting the album cover in Arizona, and then you even brought it up like repping Arizona on forfeit with Lucky Day. I'm curious, what does Arizona mean to you now at 23 versus when you were growing up?
I think when I was growing up, I wanted to run away from home. I didn't really think about me putting Arizona on the map. I was just like, peace, gotta go. I
Yeah.
left home by myself when I was 16 with my 18-year-old best friend. So for me, I was ready to start a new life. I was done with Arizona. I was ready to become who I wanted to be. But as I got older, I realized like the person that I wanted to be was, a lot took from a lot of the things from my childhood. And I think over time we learn things and adapt, and as we grow as people, we have to unlearn things. And
Mm.
in order to get back to that innocence and that, I guess, like joy for life and that freedom that I felt as a kid, I had to face my fears and go back home and really rep Phoenix.
Kiana, I gotta say this, like even before the album, there were a lot of tracks that I really loved and appreciated, like a heavy or like a take it all. And I don't know if it's the Aries in you, but like you easily show that vulnerability and transparency in your music. Like, was that easy to transfer that kind of energy from your EPs over to your debut album, knowing that there's gonna be a lot of eyes and ears on it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I do best, and it's really scary. Because also as an Aries, I'm really good at opening up to people, but I'm very scared to be hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was definitely a little harder because I had more songs with this album. I could get a little deeper, and that extra layer of depth is what really freaks me out. So it was a little hard
Mm.
to write the songs and be completely transparent and truthful this time, just because I really had to get a little deeper. But I'm really happy I did it, and at the end of the day, that's why I make music. I make music so we're not perfect, get through our imperfections, our struggles and shit together.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. First couple times I was telling Chance this, I was a little triggered listening to the album because I feel like, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Crazy and Plenty More is like part one and part two.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And I say this because it's like Crazy, you're getting a little taste of what I can do, and then Plenty More, you're talking about throwing shit out the window, messing up the condo, like was that intentional? Was just the track listing for that, the sequence, or?
No, it wasn't. I think I've just been in that place many times where I've been hurt and I show it through anger first
Mhm.
rather than breaking down. I don't like being that sensitive
Right.
and showing my weaknesses. So it makes sense that there's multiple tracks like that, but I didn't intend to be like that, no.
And listen, it still was fire though. I played like Plenty More like a good 15 times this morning. So I must like feeling triggered or something. I don't know.
Thank you for the play.
Hey, no problem, no problem. And again, speaking on that transparency, that vulnerability, I feel like a lot of upcoming singers like you, like Ari, like Summer, like Jesse Reyes, you guys, the new crop of singers have this raw, vulnerable side. Like, why do you guys think this generation is able to show that so flawlessly?
I think that women particular in R&B music have always shown vulnerability. I think the only reason we feel it more now is two reasons. One, because we're older, so we can understand. Like, I know that when I was listening to R&B songs, I didn't know what the fuck Brandy was saying in her songs. But I loved it, you know?
Right.
And I really was singing it with my whole heart, like I knew what love was, and I didn't. But now that I'm older, that Brandy song is gonna hit a lot more than it did when I was 5, 6, 7. So I think we're just more emotionally aware, and we just feel it more as we gain more life experience and go through more shit in our lives. And I think the second reason is, amazingly enough, social media has reached this part where everyone's able to just be themselves. I think for a while it was just ass, and that's great. Ass is great, okay? But after a while, just seeing the same Photoshop, Facetune ass pictures through the entire feed, people got tired. And they were like, you know what? I'm going to show my ass, but I'm also going to show me crying tomorrow. Or like, you know, they started showing their more vulnerable sides as well. And I think social media became a very dynamic and honest place. And people like Ari and Summer and me and her and all these people, we really spearheaded that, I think. People in music really spearheaded being able to talk about mental illness, being able to talk about our struggles and our insecurities. And people can now associate those things on social media with the songs because they know what experiences we're talking about too. So I think we're just more aware, honestly.
Love that answer. Love that answer. That answer. I mean, now I'm curious what you saying that, right? Any of the tracks resonate with you more now versus the recording process when you hear them back today?
Yeah. I mean, Attention.
Why Attention?
Because during this quarantine, I'm here with my man, and I was just telling him about how I feel like sometimes I just make up shit just because I want to get a rise, or I want attention, or I want to feel loved. And that was the example of love for me as a kid growing up. So sometimes I see myself doing that, and it freaks me out.
Well, you saying that, I'm actually going to fast forward to a question I had. When you at 23 had your fair share of like love experiences, what does love mean to you at 23?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows what love is. Like, I don't think there's one definition. I think it's a bunch of little components that smash together and become love. Man, that's really hard. I mean, I think it's friendship and trust, reliability and partnership, and attraction, and some other scientific shit I don't even know about.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, it's great.
No, definitely a lot of layers to it. One thing that I really adored and appreciate about the project, you have a thing where like you flip like 92,000 joints. It could be an Outcast, So Fresh, So Clean, or Mad at You. It could be the Labels joint with the Biggie Juicy. Like, I'm curious, where did that love and appreciation, because you're still young, for like 90s, 2000s come from?
Honestly, I say this when people ask me this question, I think the first thing is early 2000s, especially like late 90s, early 2000s. I was so little at that time, and because I had such an appreciation for music and a love for music, I was old enough to understand the music, but not old enough to have responsibilities. Like, I didn't really care about anything in the world, and it kind of reminds me of that carefree feeling. That's what I get every time I listen to early 2000s songs, especially. Like, I just feel so carefree, and like, it just reminds me of such a good time. It's just nostalgic, and I live in nostalgia. So that's one. And then the second reason I love to do that is because I kind of restarted my career and gave it life again when me and Mike, who executive produced the album, did soul food sessions on Flipped Records every week and posted them on YouTube. And After Hotline Bling went viral, like that was where I got my first look as a musician, as a real, and I never want to let that go.
That's dope. And shout out to you bringing up the Soul Food Sessions. I love your rendition of Ballin'. Fire.
Thanks.
I know you did Ballin', you did Controlling. Like, let me ask you this, because not a lot of people are able to springboard into like music success from doing cover songs. Like, obviously you did it, a Tori Kelly did it. Like, what do you think is the gift and the curse of covering songs in 2020?
Oh, that's interesting. I think um, the gift of covering songs is because it gives people like it plays on people's nostalgia.
Yeah.
It gives people something recognizable, so you're easily introduced because they're like, oh, I know that song, and they can sing along. But if you're doing something different with it, they see you as another level, like an artist, a creative, as long as you're being super original with it. I think the curse is very obvious. It's not your original music. People can sometimes get attached to you singing the old things, and I think that's what's really important about being super original. That's the only way I was able to break out of the cover world, because I did it because I loved it. I did it because, it did play on people's nostalgia, and it played on my nostalgia. I loved it, but I had to make it my own and do it my own way. And I think that's what makes this album so special. I think this is what I started this way in Selfless, and then myself kind of got away from that a little bit. And now this album is really, I think, giving people what they expected to hear when I went from the cover world into the original music. So, and it's always what I wanted to do. So I'm really happy.
And I love that you mentioned that, especially with Kiki. It's your project at the end of the day, even though you had some dope features, dope rising R&B features like a Lucky Day, an Aaron Ray, an Ari Lennox. I'm curious, who would you say creatively challenged you the most in terms of collaboration?
Honestly, they were all super, super easygoing, super easy, super fair. All of the songs that we had done were written before I shipped them off to people. So I think the most exciting one, most I don't want to say inclusive, the most like I put the most attention to and the most effort into was the Lucky one. We went to the studio, and it was me, him, and we were just chilling, and he did it, and I was singing harmonies back and forth with him, and it was so fun.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite records that you mentioned that, because I love like vocally, like you went under his verse, kind of like ad lib, and I thought that was pretty dope. Before I let you go, I'm curious because I love the tattoos you got.
Thanks.
So I want to know, what's the first tattoo you're gonna get once this whole quarantine thing is over?
Oh man, I'm actually lucky because I went in literally the day before the quarantine and got two.
Smart woman.
I was so smart. I was like, I cannot live without more tattoos for another 2 months. I just need to get another. So I got the Kiki on my arm, and then I got the apple. Man, I don't know. That's really hard. I have like a whole list. Oh, actually, I do know. Let me get it actually really quick. There's this.
Making me jealous.
There's this angel globe. It's really old, but my grandma gave it to me when I was a baby. And I'm not really religious, so I was always like wondering, why do I have a thing for like, why do I love baby angels, like little cherubs?
Right.
Like I'm not religious. Why do I care so much? And then I saw this and I realized it's because my grandma gave this to me when I was a baby, and it has a little cherub inside. So I'm gonna get this snow globe tattooed on me somewhere.
That is so dope. I love super sentimental tattoos, because some people they just be wilding, I mean, it's their body though. I got 4, so I'm trying to get my 5th one. I still got to figure out which one.
Yours are fairly big though.
Yeah. My mom almost killed me, but it is what it is though. I'm a grown man. She can't do nothing now. But I'm trying. I want to get a sleeve though. Eventually, either half a sleeve or full sleeve. So I got to figure that out.
I love that.
We'll see. Any tattoo regret, or you were honey with all of them?
No, nah. I think at the end of the day, like, fuck it. If I really hate it that much in 5 years, I'll just cover it up with something else or get it removed. Like, whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Kiana, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with Billboard. Oh, by the way, congrats. I saw you announced a European tour. The dates are back on
Yeah.
October. Hopefully, get to see you in the States when this thing is over.
We will. We just got to work out a couple kinks because the U.S. tour we're actually doing before the European tour, but I wanted to get those dates out first so that Europe got their shit back in.
Fingers crossed. Say less. When you hit New
Uh,
York, I got you. I'll bring the shrimp tacos. Good money.
yes.
Say less, Kiana. Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with Billboard.
Thank you so much.